Welcome back everybody, Dan here for another video, and for this one I want to talk about more in detail why I picked this particular car for the car that I went with, because I looked at a lot of different cars. So you guys know me because I did a lot of sim racing, but long story short, I was to the point in my life where I was ready to get back into what I really enjoyed, which was physically driving in a real car. Okay, sim racing was an inexpensive way for me to drive various cars and stuff cheaply. That's basically why a lot of people get into sim racing. I've heard many people tell me that. It was no different for me. But the deal is, I was ready to make a move back into some kind of performance, quote unquote, car, something that I could have some fun with, do some track days, do some autocross events, and just have fun driving around in general, even like I'm doing right now, something that was enjoyable to drive. But I'm a normal human being, so I am on a budget. So I had to do a lot of research and kind of look at what was going to be the most cost efficient, the most bang for your buck. And so that gets me into why I picked this particular car. And so let's start off by talking about what type of car I went with. So a lot of you know, but I will just say this is a 2018 Ford Focus ST. Now, the ST in recent years has really been overshadowed by the Focus RS. But the RS, while it's an awesome car, really, really fast, really great car, I've driven them, they're $45,000. And at $45,000, you can get a lot of cars that have much more performance for that money. So even though I did look at a few of them, I very quickly decided that I was going to look for something that was much cheaper than that price range. And so I looked at things like the WRX, the ST, the Volkswagen Golf GTI, which was a little more expensive, but still kind of the same kind of thing. And I ended up picking up this, which is the 2018 Focus ST. Now, this particular car is the ST1 package. You can tell by the seats. These are clearly not the really heavily bolstered Recaro seats that you see in the ST2 and the ST3 package. Also, if I was to turn the camera around, you would see that I have the smaller radio, not the big touchscreen. It's still Sync 3 technology, but it doesn't have the big screen. It's basically base model in here. But the reason why I went with the base model car is because I purchased this car for the performance aspects, not necessarily all the other gadgets. Because in my opinion, the Focus ST is not a bargain at $30,000. So an ST3 is going to get you right close to about $30,000. The ST2 is about $25,000, $26,000. I don't think the Focus ST is a bargain for the performance of it until you get down to about $22,000. Now, the amount of performance you get in this car at $22,000 is a bargain, which is why I decided to bump my way down into the ST1. Now, I actually got a really good deal on this. I paid about $19,000 and some change out the door for this car, so I got an incredible steal. And if you look around right now, because they're no longer going to make them in the US, starting in 2019, the dealers are trying to get them off of their lot, and you can find quite a few of them. I looked just last night, and there are a lot of these ST1s and even ST2s and ST3s, but a lot of the ST1s are going for very, very cheap. So if you're looking for a car that has a great performance value, the Focus ST1 is the way to go. Now, let me explain myself here. Like I said, the Focus ST2, while it does have a little more pretty stuff in it, nicer seats, nicer radio, you're paying $25,000, $26,000. Now, that is no longer a bargain, in my opinion, because for just $2,000 or $3,000 more, you can get a few-year-old M3 or various cars that have way more performance than the Focus ST, because this is a 2-liter turbocharged car. From the factory, they have 252 horsepower, 270 or so foot-pounds of torque. Now this car has quite a bit more because I've tuned it a lot, I've done a lot to it, but from a factory standpoint, 26, 27, and even more for the ST3, it's just not worth it for 250 horsepower, because you can pay about the same or just a little more and get cars that have so much more performance than that. And for me anyways, I know everybody's entitled to their opinion, the ST2 and the ST3 is just trimmed up out of a price range that it's worth paying for the performance that you get in this car. But at an ST1, 22,000 or less, you get incredible performance, reliability, and also the ST in general. Another thing that I liked about it and intrigued me so much about this car is it's just a comfortable car. You basically are purchasing two cars in one. When you buy an ST, you've got if you just stay out of the gas and just be easy with it, you've got a daily driver hatchback that fits a lot of shit in the back, is comfortable. You can go long distances without any issues. But then if you decide that you want to have a little fun, then you just roll into the throttle, give it a little more gas. I mean, and it turns into a completely different beast. And for me, having like two cars in one is pretty awesome. Also, where the RS is very flashy on the outside, one of the things that I like about the ST is it takes a keen eye to really see the difference between an ST and a base model Focus. It's got painted side skirts, a slightly different front bumper, slightly different rear bumper, but it really takes someone who knows what they're looking at to tell that this is something special. And I like that. A lot of people like it the other way around. They like to be able to see, like, for example, the WRX STI, the huge spoiler, the crazy rims, the loud muffler tone from factory. All that stuff screams like boy racer. Well, what I like about the ST is, yes, it can be boy racer if you want it to be, but just generally looking from afar, it seems like it's just a regular hatchback that you could throw your stuff in and drive around on a daily basis. And that's one of the things that intrigued me about this car. Now, some of you may remember that I actually had a 2015 Ford Focus SE, which was the base model, the base model with the, I believe it was a 2-liter engine too, but non-turbo. And I really loved that car too. It was that shiny gray looking color. It was a really nice car. And it basically is the exact same as this when I'm driving normally. So sometimes I forget, unless I'm driving really hard in the throttle, that I'm even in a different car, because it feels so much like that base model SE. And I really like that because that was a really comfortable car. But again, when you really want to roll into the throttle and play a little bit, now there's a car in front of me, or I would, kind of give you guys an explanation of what I'm talking about. When you just want to play a little bit, it's there to have fun with. Also, this car handles great. It's like it's not the best handling car, but it's a fun kind of handling. It's a front-wheel drive chassis, but the rear end will step out on you if you push it too hard. And not in a scary, safe kind of way. It's a controlled manner, but it's just a playful, fun, playful, fun kind of deal. And I really enjoy it. And after driving a bunch of cars, this is really the one that fit me the best, So I just wanted to make a video. This probably ended up being a little bit long, but I just wanted to talk about why I picked this particular car. When I go to car events and meet up with people, I always get the question, man, why you don't have the cool seats? Why did you get an ST1? Why didn't you get the ST2? And this is the explanation for that. I don't care about that stuff. I don't need that stuff. I was looking purely for a performance to dollar standpoint. And this performance that you get bone stock from this car at $20,000, $21,000, even $22,000 is a great bargain. But after you get above that, it's no longer a bargain. There are many other cars that are better purchases when you get closer to $25,000 and $30,000, and that's just it. So for me, I can do without the fancy seats. And actually a little interesting tip here, even the base model seats, they are designed by Recaro. They just don't have the labeling on there. there. So these are still Recaro seats, but I think Ford wanted to upsell the ST2 and the ST3 trim, so they don't put Recaro on these seats. And clearly they're a cloth material rather than the leather. But still very comfortable. They hold you in corners very well. I mean, I'm gonna take this one pretty quickly here. I don't move at all, running about 77 miles an hour. Pretty tight turn here. So the seats, they hold you well. They hold you just fine, and they're very comfortable for long trips. So I'll basically end this one here, guys, but this is just an introduction to my car, kind of letting you know why I picked this particular video, and you can plan on seeing many more videos about this car on the channel in the future, autocross events, track events, just driving around, going various places. So thanks so much for joining in with this, guys. Hopefully you understand now why I picked an ST1 Focus ST over all of the other vehicles that are available. Coming up soon, I'm going to make a video showing you all of the modifications I have done to it since it's new. It's got 3,200 miles on it, and it is no longer stock. I started modifying it as soon as it was out of the break-in period, which was about 800 miles. So it's tuned. It's got various bolt-on modifications, exhaust, things like that. And I'll make another separate video talking about that stuff when it's time to do that. So thanks so much for joining in with me for this video, guys. I hope you're enjoying this new content. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, and I will talk to you guys very soon. See you later.